call this meeting to order. First off, I'd like to welcome Mr. Wilson and Mr. Archer to the council. I think they'll make some good council members, and we just want you to know we're glad to have you with us. And and another thing too, I know everybody knows what's going on in Gatlinburg and Sevierville, and I just want to appreciate everything our employees have done, especially the fire department and the police department. We took supplies over to Gatlinburg and Sevierville, and the people in the city, the citizens have donated clothes, food, water, Gatorade, and I know I can always count on my people in a time of need, and I really want to thank the business people and anybody helped in any way to make this a great thing for Superior County. All right. I now call this meeting to order. Terry, you do the honor to prayer and please stand up.
We'll go to the Lord in prayer. Lord Father, we thank you, dear God, for your grace and your mercy and all your blessings, that you bless each one of us. Father, we pray, dear God, that you bless our city and bless our officials. They'll be led of the Spirit of God in all decisions that they make. We pray, dear God, that people would come to Christ in these last days we're living, that we are supposed to be looking for your appearing. God, we pray, Lord Father, for those that's less fortunate, that you supply their need this Christmas season. And let us also remember, dear Lord, that Christmas is about your birthday, as you were born in a little city called Bethlehem, wrapped in swaddling clothes, laid in a manger. We pray, dear God, you remember our veterans and our soldiers that's in the military, that you'll watch over and give your divine protection. Do remember those in the nursing home, those that are sick, and those that have cancer, and all different diseases, and the little kids that's in the hospital. We pray that you'll give their families hope this season, because Christ is about hope and about peace and love and joy. And I pray that you bless this meeting in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Someone needs to read it. Stand, call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer. Mr. Bollinger.
Here.
Mrs. Thompson.
Here.
Mr. Wilson. Here. Mayor Stanton.
Here. Item number 4, approval of your minutes for your November 2016. You have a copy of them in your packet. What's council's pleasure?
Move to approve, Mayor.
Have a motion by Joe and a second by Hank. Call the roll.
Mr. Archer.
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger.
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 5, reports from your boards, your committees, and your department heads. What's council's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Hank. Have a second.
Second.
Have a second, Mr. Archer. Call the roll.
Mr. Archer.
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger.
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Any comments from the citizens? Note it being none. Any announcements? I have one. Tomorrow morning, between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock, December the 7th, at LaFollette Recreation Center, there's city employees and council's breakfast. Johnny, you're cooking, right?
Yes.
We'll have plenty of bacon,
Yes.
and everybody's welcome to come.
And the following Thursday night will be our Christmas dinner. What's the wrong? Be the 15th.
The 15th, okay, Christmas dinner, direct center.
Yeah, the old cafeteria there at Russell Park. And the breakfast will be here also up the upper wing in the new section.
Okay, good deal. All right. Thanks, Johnny. Anything else? Okay, under ordinances, resolutions, number 1, resolutions 2016-28, amendment to the original budget, 2016-2017 budget. That is for the fire department, and it was an amendment for $30,000. It was our half paying for the machine that puts oxygen in the air packs the farmer wears into a house that's on farm, and layering our vehicles, right? City.
No, East
I'm
County for
sorry,
the
who's
country
this
club.
for?
Oh, the fire hydrant.
They're taking the money out of their fire budget to pay for all the stuff they use things and to pay for the equipment.
Okay. I thought we were. Well, it's also counting those cars too, wasn't it? No?
That's for material to extend water lines in the.
Couple. Okay, the Kenny said on the water lines.
Yeah.
They're going to furnish the labor, we'll furnish the material, right?
Yes.
All right.
That's the material for that.
I'm sorry, What's the council's pleasure?
Make a motion, Mayor.
Have a motion by Hot Rod, have a second. Second by Mr. Archer, call roll.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 2, ordinance 2016, ordinance to set local license fees for the wine sales. We discussed that in the workshop. What's council's pleasure?
Mayor, before you do that, you all will have to, the ordinance that Reed drew up, you didn't actually set a dollar amount, so you'll need to set a dollar amount tonight, and we'll put that in the ordinance.
Okay, Stan researched that. Is anywhere from what, Stan, $500 to $3,000?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion, we set it at $1,000 initial and $500 renewal.
Okay, I have a motion by
I'll
Lonnie.
second that.
I have a motion by Lonnie, second by Ann. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer? Yes. Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Under administration,
Mike, you need to go back and probably approve, the ordinance itself is specific as to the certification process. So I took a draft of one, we may tweak it next month at the final reading, but we need to approve this ordinance here to amend our alcohol ordinance or whatever to detail the certification process as well as
hot rods.
Mr. Wilson's fee portion.
First and second.
Okay, I need a motion
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
on the first, second reading. I have a motion by Lonnie. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Archer. Call the roll.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mayor, I'd like to ask that you all give permission to Food Line and Food City, give us permission to give them a compliance letter. They will give us a letter acknowledging the fees going into effect in January of 2017. I think that Mr. Faust has spoken with Reed about it, would be the recommendation that they,
Do we have a vote on it, or?
I believe so.
Is that right? Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to send a letter to
To
food?
give us permission to give them a compliance letter, and then they will acknowledge the fees that will go into effect and pay those.
Okay.
January 2017.
That's your motion. Have a motion, okay. Have a second.
Second.
Have a second, Joe, call the roll.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right. Under administration, number 1, employees insurance renewal. David, you want to come up? Can I jump him? Okay.
Deductibles and out of pockets, the list current for the cities, $5,066. We've done about 44. Just to show you.
I thought that was.
Sorry, we'll be right with you guys. Get rid of this stuff here.
You can turn it.
Did anybody want to see this is the results of our rates here, if you want to see our combined rates. I put everything in red so you don't have to read those. Just show all you need to do is read the red boxes. You can see it. Gosh, is that all I've got to do? Here we go. Okay, you'll have to share it. Yes, ma'am. Okay, the red one, that's the one you want to see. You can pass it around and look at it. I'm sorry, they're probably playing out in the streets.
Oh, that's how you've been combined.
I would just go ahead, how many copies you got? Okay, I'll go ahead and give everybody one of them. David's going to explain that. Give me one as well. I've already given one away.
Please.
Yes, sir. Take it down. Okay. This is version 4. We had 3 other ones, you need to throw them away. We've been talking about moving to Humana, which is, you guys don't have these, I guess. John, if you have any extras, you might want to pass them out here on the table. But we've been thinking about moving to Humana because of price. We've had a few little problems with it. We've got it straightened out now as much as it can be straightened out. There were some changes on the, talked to you about it, Terry, about who we pay. We are going to pay the providers, not the employees. Cost us $1.50 per head per month each to add that. And then we found some additional fees, so we are now at 3.2% on Humana. 3.2% over last year's Blue Cross renewal. And we'll be buying a $5,000 deductible, $6,500 out-of-pocket policy. We've already discussed a lot of the changes that, they're minimum changes for the employees, that they're, I think we discussed those in earlier meetings, I think it was. So, I don't have a whole lot more to say about it. We've looked at this thing several times. We have a 20% Blue Cross rate increase just to take back what we have, just to renew it. It's 20% more. We have one alternative, which is slightly different, which is nearly 16% more. And then we have Humana at 3.2%. We've talked about it several times, so the only thing I did want to point out is on the bottom of this sheet is that the different thing about the IRA, or the HRA, I'm sorry, HRA, since it's administrated by a third-party person, is that the employees are going to have to turn their own claims in. Now, we're talking about just co-insurance and deductible claims. And what you'd have to do is you go have a procedure of some kind, and you will get an EOB, an explanation of benefits from Humana, and you will need to send that to the HRA administrator to have it looked at, and then he will pay it if he finds that it should be paid, and the city will reimburse within a week the administrator for that check. The only other thing that I would bring up is and we talked about this before, is that the tiering, the pharmacy tiering is non-traditional. All of the cheaper pharmacies are in the bottom, tier 1, and the more expensive ones in the top, whether they're generic or not. So it's slightly different from what you have now, but it's not a big deal. Those are the two big changes that we have for your employees. Other than that, everything's pretty much the same as it was before.
Mr. Rutherford,
Yes.
if I understood the way you explained it, if you go to the doctor, all you do is pay your copay. You never turn in an EOB to anybody.
The
That's
HRA
only-
doesn't cover your
That's only if
copays.
you go to the hospital and have met your $1,500 deductible.
Exactly.
That you start turning in these explanation of benefits to the.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only time that we've been paying you is when you are between your deductible and your maximum out of pocket. And that way, you're paying 20% of that, and the city is actually paying the other 80% instead of the insurance company. That's what we do with our HRA money. We save money on our contract by buying a high deductible and a high out of pocket, and then we spend that money to reimburse the employees for what they've spent.
So only if somebody hits their max deductible, then they start turning in
Right.
the EOBs, not just for your doctor visits and everything in general, just.
That's the only time you would have an HRA claim, is
Okay.
when it's co-insurance.
If they're doing labs at your doctor visit, that's included, the copay covers that, but they're not going to send that.
Your copay normally covers that. Now, if for some reason it didn't, it may become part of this, but I don't much think so. I haven't seen that very often. It's usually it's part of your $50 or $35, whatever you pay to go.
What was our savings on the HRA for Blue Cross for last year? Terry, do you know?
It's going to be
Is it like
Uh,
47,000?
I had, about, from the year before, I had, at December, I had $17,000 left out of about about 95,000. Then I transferred 90,000 in for this year. I think in January, that was 107,000. Right now, I've got probably about 39,000 left. Out of
So that's the savings that we
Out of
saved.
107, yeah.
Is that the savings just from the, what we saved, or is that include the savings over what we would have had to pay? Is that
What we would have had to pay, because
Okay.
the first year, when you compared, what the premium was going to be and what we were going to save to go to the HRA, it was like 95,000.
Right.
And that's what the council said, start with that as a starting point,
Okay.
which we did.
Okay.
And we saved 17,000 out of the 95.
Okay.
And then I transferred in another 90, which made 107.
Okay.
And right now, we probably got about 39, somewhere like 39,000 out of it.
So sticking with Blue Cross, there is a savings, and it's possible it will be even more savings next year if we stay with it, right?
So we've actually saved money the only 2 years in a row that we've been in it, we have saved money, that's true.
There's a possibility that we could, if we stayed with Blue Cross, then it would be a savings for, in the
It can be.
HRA.
Yes.
Are we doing a supplemental insurance to help employees?
On the, not on the medical part, I mean, that's why we're doing the HRA is to, we're actually saving money so that we can bring them back to what they had in 2014, with the same deductible and the same out of pocket. But we don't have, we have some other, we got dental and vision and so forth available, but it's not considered medical coverage.
And we have short-term disability.
And we have short-term disability as well.
Somewhere there was mention about the family costing $20.
I think that was the supplement if you went with Humana.
If you went
and
with
bundled
it.
everything. I
Yeah.
think Jonathan can explain.
We had an issue with, if we go to the Humana plan, the ER visits go up to 350 per emergency room visit versus 250. So one of the things that we looked at, if you decided to vote for the Humana plan, was adding a supplemental hospitalization policy that would have a $100 payment on their ER visits and a $1,000 payment for hospitalization. That would bring the cost down. That's only with the Humana plan.
Is that through Humana also?
No, that's with the supplemental carrier, yeah.
Somebody else?
Mhm, yes.
The reason for the increase in this with Blue Cross is because we've had substantial claims, is that correct?
Well,
Basically,
we think so. I know that we don't get any loss information, so we really can't know. But in my conversations, to try to get some credit, I've been told that we do have our pharmacy use is much higher than normal, and that we've had some pretty sizable claims. I don't know anything about it though.
So
But
if-
you can see on that sheet I gave you that we have several people who have hit all the way into 6,600 out of pocket. They aren't hurting us, but they've apparently, because after that, we don't have to pay any more HRA money after 6,600. But apparently they've taken a pretty good hit with Blue Cross. So who knows how far they've gone past the 6,600. But we don't get that information.
is Humana aware of these claims? Or if they find out about these, are they going to raise it?
John and I have been through that over and over, and we've even talked to them on the phone. We don't have any, their application, or their application, if we go with them, actually ask us these questions, and we can only give them the information we have. They want to know the individual's name, what kind of illness or injury he's got, so forth and so on. We don't have that information. So they have done all of their due diligence about researching the people who are on the census, the pharmacy, and they've done all they can do to know all that they can know, but I can't tell them what I don't know.
That if we go with Humana and then they find out all this, are they going to raise the rates?
They told
enough?
us
It's a firm rate, is
Firm
what
rate.
we've been told, and we can only relay.
and we asked them that again last week. They said this is a firm rate, but I can't predict what. If we have some terrible problems we just aren't aware of, I don't really think there's much they can do about it. They've given us a firm quote. But that doesn't stop them from doing whatever they can do.
That's true.
Stan, you got any questions on this, David, about this? Since you'll be fooling it, you don't know.
No, I mean, I know about as much about it as you all do. I mean, it's,
There's not a whole lot more.
and it's like David said, I mean, we don't know because, I mean, I actually deal one-on-one with the employee. We don't know their medical status because we can't ask that. It's HIPAA violation.
And that's why I would like to see us get to 100 and more, whether it's with combining the accounts.
How close are we?
We're 7 people away. It's not, now we can't hire 7 people to get about, but that's not work. But that way we would have everything. We would know what's going on.
You have to average more than 100
In the prior year.
the prior year. So you couldn't get to 100 the day before quoting, you would have to average it. There's a formula they use to figure it out.
Well, maybe next year we can get a utility over our.
I would like to.
Why is the combined insurance for the utilities so high?
I think it's wrong. I just think it's wrong. I can't say any more than that. I've looked at it. There's no way at all that we can go from 20% to 46, what is that? 47% just for combining. I've called and asked them to do it, they did not. I've asked them to check it, but they did not. I don't think we could get it put together. We've tried to put it together with the utility, and it's just not worked. We've been told they've already done what they're going to do, and they aren't going to change it. So,
Yeah, I talked to him personally. He told me it doesn't vote on it.
I spoke to Kenny, he said next year that he would be happy to start in about September and sit down with Mr. Rutherford and Mr. Finley and see what we can do about combining next year in September.
Okay.
I think, I just can't believe that it would not be the thing to do. I think it would help all of us.
I'm sure.
But these rates are just, they're just out of line, way out of line.
That's why you got rich people, poor people. Yeah. Barb, you have any comments, Barb, you know? No? Okay. Is there any more comments? Lonnie, Ray?
The only reason on the electric department, they got a bunch of catastrophic illnesses there.
On the electric. See, they know, they're over 100, they get to see everything.
Yeah.
We may have, I don't know. I know when I looked at the report that Mr. Jeffries has, we have a lot of people who've blown right through their 5,000, the city's 5,000 deductible and the 6,600 out of pocket. But I don't know how far.
There's quite a few catastrophic on there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is there any more comment from council?
Well, I feel like that we've had significant savings with Blue Cross, and I really do not think that the city would be happy to transfer to Humana. And I would rather stick with Blue Cross. I know it's a significant increase, but I feel like we need to.
And you gotta look who's paying for this. You know, the taxpayers is paying for this. A lot of these taxpayers don't even have insurance.
I
And
understand
we're
that.
very fortunate to have insurance. You know,
That's just my feeling.
okay, Jimmy?
I would, I was hesitant, very hesitant too, about staying with Blue Cross. But the cost is,
But we had a significant savings with the HRA, and we didn't have that with Humana,
Oh, well, you got an HRA with Humana also.
but it's an outside source. And we don't know anything about that, do we?
No, I don't. I really don't. I've never used them. I have talked to them. Their website looks good, their data looks good. You can go in and look at things, but I have no idea.
have you checked with any other cities?
I
I
have.
heard the mayor say he had.
I have.
He has.
Yeah.
Jefferson City gave a very good
It
rating.
is.
But they don't, I don't think they have an HRA though, do they?
I didn't ask them to.
Okay. I'm not too worried about Humana. I'm more worried about the problems the employees might have with the HRA. And I've talked with everyone about that.
Each employee's gonna have to do their own filing of insurance, and right?
The employees do have to send their EOB. Did you hand those,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yeah, they should all have.
You should all
benefits
have it
assist.
in this thing. The seventh page, I think, shows questions and answers. And the one thing it says that is that the employees must deliver their EOB to benefitsassist.com, and it says not to your employee. So you can't just come in and lay it on somebody's desk and say, take care of this for me. They don't want it done that way, and I don't even know if they'll accept it that way.
I think the employees will have a real hard time dealing with that.
Well, they've not had to do it before.
Right, they've never had to do it, some of them may not be able to do
And
it.
there's no way to get around it.
If at the end of a year, and we're gonna look at different, bringing in the utility board and other employees, going back to Blue Cross Blue Shield, possibly.
That's where they are, and that's where, that's where we look first, because that's where we both have been for most of the
For the
years.
benefit of everybody out there, Hot Rod and I got thrown into this mess. We didn't know anything about it till
Bad time.
workshop time,
Yeah.
but, we're here to bite the bullet if necessary and do what. But we've got a fantastic group of employees. I think the world of each and every one of them, and I'm gonna see them have the best that we can afford to have for them. But, I'm not gonna give Blue Cross Blue Shield no 19% increase in rates just because they would not budge, right?
No, they have not budged.
They would not budge in any way,
I called
shape,
them
or
again
form.
Friday, and they've not even called me back.
I just,
But this other plan that you suggested is down to 15%, right?
Yeah, it's about, it saves about $38,000 or $40,000 a year. And the only difference between it and the others is it's a 70-30 plan instead of an 80-20 plan. And you just have to go through the math to see how it works, but it doesn't affect anyone. It doesn't affect anyone because you all have the same deductible and the same out of pocket. In that case, it would be a $1,500 deductible and a $3,000 out of pocket. So if you get to either one of those spots, then you're not affected at all. However, in between, while you're in co-insurance, you're going to have to pay 30% instead of 20% on anything in between your $1,500 and the $6,500 out of pocket. So for those very few people, and there's 7 of them on that list that were in between. So for 7 people last year, they would have paid a little bit more than under that 30-20 plan or 70-20 plan than they paid on the 80-20.
What is this HRA debit card?
We don't need one. They do make a debit card for HRAs that you can choose what you want to cover under the HRA. If we did over-the-counter supplies, we could use the debit card. If we did office visits, which we don't pay for, we could use it. We could give everybody a debit card. So when you run to the doctor's office, you just use their debit card, or use the city's debit card, is what it is. But we don't need one, so we will not have a debit card.
Looks like I told you and John earlier this evening, we was meeting in the conference room. Blue Cross has got us by the neck, and they're choking the air out of our body. When we sit there, I'm not gonna let them choke the air out of our body. Now, this $86,000 or $87,000 I sign a check every month to Blue Cross Blue Shield, we may not sink their ship, but we're gonna knock a dadgum dent in their hull. Now, that's what I feel about. Like I say, we're playing with taxpayers' money here.
Well, I'm not proud of what they've done. We talked about that. They're making us pay for their mistakes.
Well, you're not gonna hold our employees accountable for their mistakes.
Well, we've had to change in previous years to make them come back to the table, a year or two down the road, so.
And they always came back to the job.
Mayor, I make a motion we approve. Amen.
Good question.
if you are going with Humana, can I make a suggestion? If you go with Humana, my understanding from Mr. Finley and Mr. Rutherford is if you bundle your dental and your vision, that gives you an additional 2% decrease, which puts you at 1.2% total increase for your medical. The supplemental plan, Mr. Finley has told me, will cost us an additional 3%, and it does give you, well, can you explain the benefits of that again, please? $100 per ER visit?
Yes, it would help the employee if they went to the ER.
Twice a year, $1,000 on their hospitalization.
$1,000 on hospitalization.
$1,500 on, or $100 a day on rehabs.
Yes.
So that would put us at a 4.2% increase, and I think that would reduce your deductible from $1,500 to $500 once you got the $1,000 on that plan, and that would reduce your ER visits, 2 of them, to $250. And I recommend if you go with Humana that you go with this supplemental plan to bring the deductibles and stuff down if the city has the money to do that.
Is that plan paid directly to the employee? right?
Pays directly to the employee.
So that would be good in that case.
So that's your recommendation, Jim?
If you go with Humana, I would like to see, that would be my recommendation, if you go with Humana, would be to do the supplemental plan to bring the deductibles and stuff down for the employees.
Rob, will you put that in form of your motion? You made,
Yes.
I have a motion by Mr. Wilson, have a second.
Second motion.
Have a second by Joe, call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer,
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger,
Yes.
Ms. Thompson,
No,
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 2, accepting mobile home from Foley Housing 40, Chief Rail and I went and looked at, thank you, Dave, you and John. Chief Rail and I went and looked at it, and I think Mr. Wilson and I went and looked at it. Like I say, it's a 3-bedroom, 2 full baths. It's really in good shape. Mr. Snoddy put a value on it, about $16,000 to $18,000 value on it. And, you know, we could use it. I talked to Barbara and Terry. We've got boxes everywhere full of reports and documents and stuff. We can't find them. They're scattered everywhere. But, you know, I recommend to the council to go ahead and accept that from the Housing 40 to put, you know, all our files in. And I talked to Reed, and Reed talked to Keith Clockfeller, and I give a ballpark figure of $5,000 to move it. And Keith said it'd be a lot cheaper than that. Is that not correct?
He did, I think we have to help with the
Yeah, we can.
but I think he's gonna donate to the city his time to.
So where are you gonna move it to, man?
Well, we could, you know, we could either move it up there to a Walden property up there on it, or now, if you put the personnel files in, I'd say pretty close to City Hall. I'd say maybe here in the parking lot in Vincent.
Right here behind the
Yeah, we'd like to have it right here.
That's what I mean, that's what I said.
Long ways or somewhere before you get to it.
That's what I mean,
He and I,
Vincent.
Mayor, we measured that trailer and measured this out here. It'll fit in perfect. Plenty of room on the out, on side to side, and plenty of room out front. It'll fit
We're at Rob here.
in between the, where's the gym? Between the
is that not
two
really
buildings.
terrible to have a trailer sitting in the middle of
It
the
would
parking lot?
look, it would look bad, I think, back here out Creek End on that part. I think they're
In
here in
the
the park.
parking lot?
No, right here. You're talking about right here in the grass next to the gym.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. She just said the parking lot.
No, she didn't. Did you?
Where are you talking about putting it?
Right here in the grass strip.
Between the two buildings here. Where the
Where the
generators
dumpsters are.
are.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the parking lot.
No, that's what she said. The parking
Yeah.
lot would look bad in there.
Yeah.
I
And
think
it will
it
fit in that space?
If we couldn't hold it in parking lot floodplain zone, you're gonna get it anyway, there, you ain't gonna
So that's council.
flood people that look.
The trailer's 45 feet long and 27 feet wide, and that's, C and I measured it the other day, and there's plenty of room out there.
Hey, and another time, you know, sometimes these firemen and police officers stay over. They can stay in.
Yeah.
Right. What's council's pleasure?
Anywhere else is gonna be vandalized.
Yeah, I see we can watch it here.
Put a fence up across, a gate, we got a privacy type fence, they can't do anything, but that's being nice.
Okay, see, something else you have to paint, clean up. Something else you have to paint.
He got to move his barn first.
Will that have to be underpinned?
Yes,
Yeah.
So what extent is that going to be?
it's gonna be, over here, I'll just tell you the difference. Over here, you're going to have 4 pads
set this on
Yeah.
in order to fasten it down. And
So what's the
you're
expense of
still
that
gonna
gonna
have,
be?
you're still gonna have the flood zone now, it's going to be jacked up in the air. The parking lot here or there is pretty well level, you're going to still have your flood zone.
So what's
That'd be
the
on a
expense?
3 or 4 foot underpin.
Whatever,
You have
we
to
just
do
have to get a
that.
survey, you have to get a survey done enough on elevation to get out the flood.
So are you talking about a concrete pad has to be poured?
No.
Concrete pads for the pillows.
Smaller, type.
Smaller.
About
It's all it's
2
concrete
by
pad.
2.
They got straps and that go from the ground on these pads and the roller, and then they connect it to the frame to hold it down for a
Wind.
tornado or windstorm.
So what's that expense gonna be?
Probably about a pack
See?
of concrete.
I don't really know.
I don't know
Where are we
how-
gonna get the money to do this at? I mean, we didn't budget it in the budget, so where's this money gonna come from to take care of doing this?
Well, we can park it somewhere, but John needs it out of his way over there so he can start.
Yeah, we can park it somewhere. We've got plenty of places to park it.
Somewhere and then do it out, put it in the budget for the coming year.
No, we don't have money in the budget for it.
We just voted wine sales in, we got money gonna come in from sale of wine in the city. That's unappropriated fund. Appropriate from that, if you need to.
Can you do that, Terry?
Yeah, whatever we do, if it's on budget, and we get revenue or expenditure, we have to do an amendment to the budget. We have to do an amendment.
Right. But we agreed on back here, right? We agreed back here.
Yeah, I do.
Huh.
Make a motion, Mayor, we accept that trade.
Have a motion, Mr. Wilson, have a second.
Yeah.
Have a second, Mr. Archer, call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, item number 3, hiring McCarty Home Inspections for inspections on the home grant program. Terry, you want to comment on that?
McCarter Home Inspection, our home grant that we have from THCA, Community Development Partners, is our administrator on it. And they sent that, and they also, since the workshop, sent another contract or another request for qualifications for Resolution Inc. McCarter does home inspection for the home grant, and Resolution Inc. does inspection for lead-based paint. And they wanted to know if we could go ahead and approve those two, because they want to start rating the applications that they have. Because the procedures, if they don't have those in place, the contracts, they can't go ahead with the project. And so they want to know if we could do that as soon as we could.
Okay, you want to go ahead and just vote on those two?
You have to vote to suspend the rules to vote on the resolution.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would have had it on the agenda, the workshop, but it just came in after the workshop.
Okay, okay.
Also, Terry, is
Gary, we have anybody in the city qualified to do anything like that, Gary Bird? Home inspection.
I don't think so.
Well, let me get that.
What we actually have to do, per the regulations, Mr. Archer, is we send out letters for requests for qualifications and to certain individuals, and I think that was one of them, because you have to send out specific letters to give people.
Okay, let me have a motion to request suspend the rules on these two items.
So moved, Mayor.
Have a motion by Jody, have a second.
Second.
Have a second. Mr. Wilson, call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, like I said, on number 3, hiring McCarty Home Inspections for inspection on the home grant. What's council's pleasure?
Move to approve, Mayor.
Have a motion by Jody, have a second.
Second.
Have Mr. Wilson, call the roll.
Mr. Archer? Mr.
No, we just did.
we suspend the
We
rules.
suspended the rules?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Okay. Okay, let's get,
You have to vote on them too.
okay, on okay. Let's jump to here, number 5, on resolution Inc., a lead paint inspector. It's also a home grant program.
I'm sorry, I don't have a copy. What are you talking about?
It's on that lead, it's on that lead best paint.
That's it, I had on that Terry just talking about.
It's in the
I
same
don't have
thing.
that.
We just got this one copied on that. He just come in, Terry said. Okay, they have a motion.
So moved.
Have a motion, Joe, have a second.
Second.
Second, to call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes,
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, it's back up here to number 4, and I might have a request to suspend the rules on this one. I have a motion on item number 4 to suspend the rules.
Make a motion, Mayor.
Have a motion, Mr. Woods, have a second.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
yes,
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Okay, item number 4, appointing ADA coordinator. Give me a comment.
Mayor, Terry brought this to us, and it's always went, we recommend making Stan the ADA coordinator. It's always went with that position, but apparently for some of the grants we have, we actually have to name Stan, and it's always went with his position anyways, and we thought we were in compliance, but according to what Terry told us, we actually have to name him as ADA coordinator.
Well, the TDOT has some new rules, and they want the city to name an ADA coordinator, and once you do, then the mayor has to send a letter to them indicating who it is and when the appointment was, and then after that, then we've got probably a year, we've got to come up with an ADA plan, transition plan, and once we get that done, then we have to send it to them. And if you don't do that, then it's going to affect the grants that you get from TDOT.
Okay. Do you recommend Stan? Stan, is that okay if you recommend? All right. Do I have a motion to recommend Stan?
I'll make a motion to recommend Stan.
Have a motion, Andy, have a second.
Second.
Have a motion, second, call the roll.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes,
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, number 6, since Mr. Hatmaker is off the planning commission, I've talked to Mark Hoskins, and come next month, Mark Hoskins will be one of the members of the planning commission. And I also have we discussed this at a workshop with Mandy Rodriguez and Jessica Roberts, and I'd like to put that back out there. Both of them have been with us for a while, they're already employees, they're just not full-time employees. Mandy's been with us a little bit longer than Jessica. Both of them are excellent young women. I've watched both of them in their job capacity. They do a great job for the city. And Mandy, the money's in the budget for Mandy. Her hourly salary is $11.11 per hour. Its total is $23,111.09. Effective date the 12/10/2016. And for her, Jessica, her annual salary is $10.60 an hour. Her annual salary is $22,048, effective 12/10/16. And like I say, I've talked to some of the council members. The answering machine we got here at the city hall just don't cut it. Everybody who's ever talked to a live person, talked to a machine, and I thought since the money's already there in Jimmy's budget for Mandy, I thought we could use Jesse down here to answer the phones, or if Pam's off at the rec center, or Cindy at the street department, or if Nancy needs her sometimes, we let her be a floater and kind of learn the business of the city. But like I say, I think both of them make us good city employees.
I had asked about the background checks on the employees.
I've talked to a lawyer, you can do a background check before you hire them.
Why was it not done before?
Well, I don't know. It never was done before.
Was the background check done on Jessica?
It never was done before anybody.
We've never ran criminal histories on administrative staff.
But we do in other departments.
By TCA, it's done in the police department, by the Post Police Officer Standards Training Commission, it's done in the police department, and it's ran nationally.
But for somebody that's gonna be involved in all the records, the personal records, HIPAA laws and stuff, do you not think you need to do a background check on
Well,
them?
you've got Pam at the recreation center, you've got Cindy in the street department, you've got Nancy at the library. They're just as involved as these two girls are.
They're under a bond too.
They are.
If something happens, then the bond will take care of it.
Yep. Yeah, like I say, the money's already there for Mandy, and Jessica, we have to do a budget amendment to get Jesse.
You get who?
Jessica Roberts in the front office and Stan's office. She's done a great job in
She
Stan.
really
I
has.
totally agree to do away with that answer thing.
Amen.
Everybody wants, I personally myself want to talk to a live business.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I really want it to happen, and Bill does too.
Well, I talked to Joy Beth today. She is in the process of calling. She's gonna get with the phone company about how to take it off. Our phone systems, I don't really understand the way they're set up. They're set up through an outside company. So the outside company has to come in and fix that, but she's gonna find out what it takes to fix it and we'll get it fixed.
Time you get through talking to all the machines, you've got to call it again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Punch this number and go here.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, the queue. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the queue.
Yeah. But that's what I'm asking council to do here tonight, so what's the pleasure of council?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
I have a motion by Mr. Wilson, I have a second.
I will.
I have a second by Mr. Archer Colorado, sir.
Question.
Justin?
Yes.
Is this on both?
Both, yes.
Okay. Then you're gonna go back, are you gonna suspend the rules or go back and do a budget amendment on?
Jessica will have to.
Okay.
I have a motion, second, Colorado.
Mr. Archer,
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger,
Yes.
Ms. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, let's go back and do that budget amendment on Jessica Terry.
Let me just fix it for the next meeting, if it's okay with you all, and because I've got to do, when I get the budget for the home grant, I've got to do it also, and I'll put it on.
That'd be fine. That'd be fine.
Because we need to get a number, and I need to get the accounts and all that type of thing,
Okay,
the general ledger accounts.
okay. They're not in the audience tonight, but, you know, I wish them the very best and make us proud. All right, let's back up here to Public Works.
Are we still, Mayor, excuse me, are we still in suspended rule?
No.
We go back to regular.
Yeah,
You won't have to since you're not doing your budget.
Yeah.
You discussed the employees'
Yeah, we-
workshop.
yeah, we did. Terry's gonna bring it back up in the next workshop.
So since you're not doing your budget, then right now you don't have to.
Right, so we're good, Ron. Let's go back here to Public Works. Item number 1, approve, proceed with the North 11th Street Bridge. Jim, you want to comment on that?
This is one, we've been working on it with T-Dot for some time, but I haven't heard anything from them in a while. Jimmy, something come through,
Terry,
like coming through Terry, somebody?
We went back and checked. The city signed a contract, the mayor signed it back in 2013 to fix the bridge. And of course, it's in phases, and I think we paid somewhere around $8,000 or $9,000 on the first phase, which has been paid, and I think it was in maybe 2015, I believe.
I believe you're right, Terry.
Yeah, and so, but it's been on hold since then, and we just got, probably a month ago, or a month and a half ago, they sent in what they call the second phase. And I know that most of the time it's in 3 phases, so I called them and talked to them about it. And they said that they're wanting about 105,000 to fix the bridge on the city's portion. And I did call them and to make sure that there wasn't any more phases that we was gonna have to pay for, and they assured me that if we paid that, that would be all that we'd have to pay.
Right.
But it's on hold right now. They want to let the contracts, probably in spring or summer of 2017, that they will not proceed any further unless we pay the money.
Yeah, right now, we're taking a big chance of losing it, right, Terry?
Well,
We don't do something
they said
about it.
we're on a timeline, but, you know, we've got some time, but they want to let the contracts early 2017.
I know, Bill may not know it, but Hot Rod, I'm pretty, Bill, do you remember when the train derailed up there and tore that old wooden bridge out? It's probably been about maybe 20 years ago, maybe. Lucy was the mayor back then. Yeah, it's been, Lucy Lopes was mayor, but the railroad owned that bridge, and when all those cars derailed, they tore it out. Well, the railroad built that real nice bridge back and gave it to the city. Hey, that was a pretty good idea at the time, but nobody knew the column was cracked on it, you know, so.
And this money would have to be on them, it is not in the budget.
Right, but when we first come up, it come to our attention when T-Dot red flagged it, we put a weight limit sign on it, right, Joe? I mean, Jim? No fire trucks can cross or no garbage trucks, no
5-ton limit.
5-ton limits, right? But we need to go ahead and fix that problem before something happens across that bridge and one of our fire trucks gets hung up somewhere we can't get across the track at 5-ton.
But they've actually called back since we delayed it last time and wanted to know where we're at on it because they were ready to proceed with whatever paperwork they had to do.
All right,
If y'all want to do that.
we have a motion. On the Lynn Street Bridge, go ahead and,
I move we proceed.
I have a motion by Mr. Archer, have a second.
Second.
I have a motion by Joe Colorado.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. I have a list here of stuff that we've, and these are the grants that we've received here in the last year. And you know, you kind of read those out there, but I don't know what we got going on.
Grants we've got a CDBG sewer improvement grant. It's up at, with the utilities, it's $570,000. Dawson Lane Bridge grant is $2,800,000. We've got the downtown improvement grant through TDOT. It's $521,000. We have a THDA home grant that we just discussed for roughly $375,000. The Safe Route to Schools grant to build sidewalks for $122,000. And the Park and Recreation grant for $48,000. Mayor, on a side note, just this week, well, I guess about the end of last week, I know you signed the thing again with the TVA. They gave us on the Big Creek project that we've all discussed, clean the creek out. They gave us a vegetation mitigation clause in that allows us on their property to take out vegetation as we see fit, the trees and stuff down the sides of the creek bank. And also Chris Trico from GRW have been working with TDEC, and they have also sent us an email telling us that we can proceed with the part of the creek that's not on TVA property. So as y'all know, Mark Hoskins had agreed to let us use his equipment and his operators. The only thing the city has to do is pay for the fuel and pay for the operator cost. So that'll be something that we'll be starting in the near future. We've also got some smaller grants. The police department always gets a vest grant. And some stuff like that. It's the Safe Driver grant and the property conservation grants. I think all of those and an overtime grant. I think each one of those is about 5,000 apiece. So we're doing pretty good on grants, and just want to bring you all up to speed on that thing on the creek also. So I'm supposed to meet with Mark one day this week, hopefully tomorrow, and discuss moving forward on that creek project.
Okay.
Mayor,
Joseph?
it might be good to go ahead and bring the commission to the meeting we had about the Vietnam Memorial thing.
I tell you what, Joe, you go ahead, Joe.
Okay, Mike and I met through the Thanksgiving week with my older brother Marvin, who lives down in Florida. There's a group of people that's come together wanting to erect a Vietnam memorial to the people that lost their lives in Vietnam that went to La Follette High School. And we've been looking around at properties and stuff, the mayor and I think Jimmy looked some too. The only property that the city has that was suitable was the property over next to the old West La Follette School there. Johnny, that you might have seen us over there looking at it.
Where the playground equipment was, John?
And the property across the street that used to flood that the city purchased years ago. We also looked at the property up here that J.R. Kiss owns, over the hospital, where they set up the little concession stand there to sell fruits and stuff. They like the property at West LaFollette School where the playground used to be. That has been more suitable and taking it back there on the rise. Now, we have to, I guess, Jim, just find out where our drain system is there. And the city's got a sewer line through there. I've asked Jimmy to talk to some of the engineers that we're working with to see if they'll go in and kind of do a drawing. This should be very little, if any, money out of the city. It's all going to be raised funds, and there's a lot of people interested in it. There's people way out west that went to school here that's interested in it. I think it'd be a good thing. It's a good location. It's just off the main thoroughfare. You can see it from the corner up there. There's parking area there. The final design on it has not been made yet, but they'd like to have it to where the monument's sitting up here and you have a like brick sidewalk with other people's names that buys into it. The monument itself would be for the 4 people that went to LaFollette High School that was killed in action over there. And maybe some benches and some plants and stuff like that. And
So this is on the corner there, coming up the hill around there on Big Street that you're talking about?
yeah, if you turn, if you like to go into down towards the ball field and turn like you come around this way, right there. And I guess that's Head Start that's up there above.
It is.
Yeah.
And how big a memorial would it be?
I don't know yet. It's, they talked about doing a solid granite, but the cost of it is prohibitive. And I think what they're gonna do is set a concrete pad in there, come up with some concrete and stuff, and then put granite panels on the outside and grade it.
You know,
It's all very good. Why do we not go back to World War I and list those people on there that lost their lives from the city of LaFollette, World War II, the Korean conflict, and go right on down and get them all that lost their lives from the city of living here in the city of LaFollette. And honor them.
you know, if you could raise the money, there's no problem, but the 4 people Joe's talking about is the people that we grew up with.
They are.
You went to school with, you know. And to be honest with you, when Marvin had come up with that idea, I thought it was a great idea because Joe run around with him, I run around with him, Hot Rod, and Jim. You guys know these guys. You know, they give their life to this city and this country, you know. I mean, I think it's such a
There's
very...
others down the back in those other conflicts that gave their lives too,
You know,
that ought to be recognized.
if the money come available, the money come in.
Yeah, they're, and most of them are down there at the county.
Yeah. Yeah. We probably do this just for the ones right here in LaFollette. Yeah. When it first was brought up.
These boys lost their lives all the way down. That's something we can look at.
We can look into it, you know, like I say, it's right now, it's in the early stages, and we're trying to find a piece of ground.
I think when you start talking, those people that in World War I, their names may be on that plaque at Jacksboro. But the ones from the city of LaFollette, if we're gonna pick out 4 from Vietnam, let's get the rest.
Right.
Well, this, you know, this is not a city project per se. It's from out of town, a group has put this
We went to
together.
school with, high school with, these are high school buddies.
Those people want to fund it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're gonna find it.
Yeah, they want funded.
They want to fund it themselves.
But to say,
If the city won't, I'm with you, Bill, if the city won't.
it's a great
You know,
idea.
and listen, you know, the perfect place is right out here in front of the Blair Gardens.
Yeah.
Make it long and put them down through there.
But we looked at that
If
place,
everybody passes coming in City Hall, they're gonna see it.
we looked at that place up there at J.R. Kids on, up on 12th Street, the corner.
Yeah, here we go, we might buy something from JR or something. We got it right here.
Well, the
That's why we're
city,
gonna use it over there, probably down there.
the city is not buying the property, and, you know, all we're doing is looking at a piece of property that the city already has.
We want it to stand out when everybody comes through the city.
That's
They can
something
look
we
at
can
it.
discuss, it's just, we look at it, I'm open-minded, I'm not gonna be, it's, I want, like I said, I know these 4 boys, everything, they were growing up. But there's also some back in Korea,
World War I, World War II,
yeah, World War II,
the Iraqi War.
and we're losing our World War II so many every day, it's unreal.
We can look at that, got it. Right now, it's in the early stages of it, you know, we started talking about it, you know, just see some pictures of the stuff, you know.
Mike, also, I don't know if it's feasible, but I can also present it to the board. We would be open to doing it at Father High School, the old high school. We got a big area there at front. I don't know if they'd be interested in that or not, but that's something I could present to the
That would be
board.
great, Johnny.
And, you know, since they did go to school there, because, I mean, that's a good area up there, but there's a lot of people who are there all hours of the night. I mean, I don't know what the construction part is, but we'd be open to help y'all with it too, if we need to, because there's a huge area there.
That'd be great.
From the high school.
That's good.
That way it would sort of connect with the kids to veterans, and but we'll work with y'all too if you need to. I'm just
Okay.
suggesting
Well,
that.
these young people in La Follette that we have coming up, they don't know what our heritage is in La Follette. They don't know where Pops's Cafe used to be. They don't know anything about what we had in La Follette when I was coming up. I think we need to preserve it for them. And no better place to put that monument than where you're talking about. Those high school kids certainly could see it.
And it's a great idea that we come up with it. I mean, it'll be an educational tool for us too, from the school standpoint.
Well,
You might have a point there, Bill. There's not a person in this room as old as you. Okay, give you way to quit, you.
our mayor went to Gatlinburg the other day.
Oh.
Tell this on him.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Jim Jeffers came up to the house to give me some papers. And Hot Rod there with you. And they had that news conference from Gatlinburg that the mayor and the mayor of Sevier County puts on every 11 o'clock every day, and they had it on the news. I said, our mayor was some way or another weaseling himself into that conference. About that time, he popped his head out and ran to get on camera.
Yeah.
Some need no respect.
Left to
Here we
right.
go, here we go. The one you
But
know,
he did a really, really good thing, and those people up there, I went with Daniel there on that first load of stuff, and they stopped us at Pigeon Forge and told us to go to the community center. And they were very, very appreciative. Red Cross was set up there feeding, and they had cops put back. I walked through the community center, and I was very impressed with it, how this world. They had a big curtain stretched and had cots back there for the people to sleep in, but we hit them right time with the right stuff. We were probably, the city of La Follette was probably one of the first ones through Daniel, the mayor, and them idea of getting, and the response was so great, it was unreal. And Johnny used his truck, I used my truck, we ran all over the city picking up stuff. And we took it up there, and It was, they unloaded it for us. They were really, really glad to see what we had on that truck. It was, gives you a good feeling.
Hey, there is good people. There is good people. You know, it was like a war zone.
Right, big jerk is what you do.
I'll tell you what, we got up there, we got caught in that traffic, it's bumper to bumper, you know, it was just moving like a snail. And we had all that stuff in the back of the truck. And I got up in the back of the truck, and you pull up to like a roadblock, you'd have like 10 or 15 people, you'd have like park rangers, state troopers, police officers, rescue squad people. I was throwing out cases of stuff to them. They thought I was Santa Claus or whatever, you know. But they were so appreciative. And Barbara tell you, we've already started writing some letters thanking the people helping Barbara. And I'll get with the press and I'll do a thing, thank everybody. Still have people call me, wanting to know how they can help, volunteer and stuff, you know. But, Jimmy, you want to say something?
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to say, Saturday, we just had the 5K that Mr. Bollinger started and the Christmas parade. And I'd just like to take a minute to thank all the city employees, police, fire, street, rec center, everybody that helped with that. I mean, they were both tremendous successes. And, you know, so many times, these things that go on in the city, people just see them go, and they never realize what it takes to make them go behind the scenes. So, you know, our employees are what makes all of that go, and they work behind the scenes, and they get very little recognition. But we just want to say thanks to everybody that worked to make all this stuff possible and go so smoothly.
One of the largest crowds I've ever seen in the parade in the fall. It was great. My little granddaughter, I got Tennessee elbow throwing out.
I got dizzy, bending over. Yeah. But the funniest thing was, you know, my brother Scotty works for Short Ribbon, and I borrowed a truck from him. It was about a $70,000 truck, and I didn't want to scratch the bed up, so I put something down the bed and got in there. And Scotty had all these Short Ribbon signs on the doors, and here I got a little Merry Christmas from the Mayor Stanfield and his family on the side. We come through the red, like, Kelly Jo didn't even recognize me. But she's talking about Scotty like he's some kind of king or something. I said, she called me, I said, I'm not going to be in the parade next year, that'll make me mad, you know.
Well, all those people come out to see me in the
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
See, that's the thanks we get, guys, you know.
Yep, I heard a lot of them say that.
Hey, listen, before I close this thing, I just want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas on behalf of me and my council. And we want you to have a wonderful Christmas and a great New Year, and keep it in your heart. And we really appreciate everything you guys do. This meeting is adjourned.
Call to order the Beer Board. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer? Yeah. Mayor Stanfield?
Here.
Ms. Thompson?
Here.
Mr. Wilson?
Yeah.
Chairman Bollinger?
Here. With there being no minutes, previous minutes, or no permits tonight, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion made, Joe.